What if I told you rejection isn't weakness? It's the key to every advantage you've ever ignored. It wasn't a mistake when they ghosted you. It wasn't random when she pulled away. It wasn't your fault when you got overlooked. It was a lesson. And most people? They panic, they chase, they explain, and they lose. But you're not most people. Because after today, every time you get rejected, you'll smile. Because you'll know exactly what to do. This is reverse psychology, Stoic philosophy, and silent dominance. 13 lessons that will make rejection your greatest weapon. Let's go. Number 1, ignore them too. The worst mistake people make after rejection. Trying harder. They start explaining. They start defending. They start begging to be seen. And that's exactly how they lose all leverage. You got ignored? Ignore them too. Not out of spite, out of power. Because the moment you respond emotionally, you hand them the keys to your worth. Rejection is a power play. It's a test of who reacts and who doesn't. You don't argue with rejection. You absorb it and redirect your energy. Because when you mirror silence, you become unpredictable. You become unreachable. And what they expected, a weak response, turns into psychological pressure. Most people chase closure. You become it. Number 2, don't react emotionally. The fastest way to kill your value after rejection is overreaction. They don't reply. You panic text. They move cold. You try to warm them back up. They criticize. You explain yourself. Wrong moves. Because now you're proving something you should have never placed on trial. Emotion gives them leverage. And that's how you lose control. You need to be emotionally untouchable. That doesn't mean cold. It means calm. You hear the rejection, and your face doesn't move. Your voice stays steady. Your mind doesn't spiral. You feel it, but you don't leak it. Because the more emotionally controlled you are, the more mysterious and dangerous you become. Most don't fear your words. They fear what you're not saying. And that silence is louder than begging will ever be. Number 3, remove them from your mind. This one hurts because it exposes you. You've been rejected, but you're still carrying them in your thoughts. You replay conversations. You check who's watching your stories. You remember how they smiled. You wonder what you could have done differently. And that is a silent form of submission. They already said no, but you're still whispering yes in your head. They don't need to ghost you again. You're haunting yourself now. It ends today. You're not just removing them from your phone. You're evicting them from your mind. Every mental loop you spend on someone who walked away is energy stolen from your future. They left? Then they don't belong in your imagination either. You don't replay. You don't romanticize. You don't fantasize a version of them that never existed. You disconnect. And that disconnection is pure power. Number 4, use rejection as a filter. Rejection doesn't mean something's wrong with you. Rejection means someone couldn't see your value. And that's their blind spot, not your burden. But most people, they take it personally. They spiral. They start chasing people who were never aligned with their energy in the first place. Rejection is not an insult. It's a filter. It removes the people who can't handle you. It exposes what's fake. It shows you who's in your life for validation and who's not strong enough to stand next to your truth. So when someone walks away, don't chase. Say thank you, because they just did you a favor. They saved you from wasting time proving something that never needed proof. They removed themselves and cleared your path. It's not loss, it's elimination. Number 5, respond with silence, not begging. Most people, when rejected, panic. They respond with paragraphs. They over-explain. They try to control the narrative. But when you beg for clarity, you lose dignity. And when you defend your worth, you place your value in someone else's hands. Don't argue with rejection. Don't try to fix perception. Respond with silence. Because silence is confusing, silence is powerful. Silence makes them wonder. Why isn't this person reacting like I expected? That thought? That's where curiosity lives. And curiosity is the birthplace of obsession, not neediness, not clinginess, not desperation, but controlled, grounded, unbothered silence. You're not being passive. You're being unavailable to energy that disrespected your presence. Let them sit with your absence. Because nothing feels heavier than silence where drama was expected. Number 6. Don't rewrite yourself to fit their taste. The biggest trap after rejection? Self-editing. You start analyzing what you did wrong. You change how you talk. You tone down your confidence. You try to be more agreeable, more likable, more acceptable. And suddenly you're not you anymore. You're a watered-down version of yourself chasing external approval. Stop. You don't change to fit their taste. You let their rejection remind you that not everyone deserves access to the real you. Because when you adjust yourself for someone who doesn't see your value, you kill the exact thing that makes you powerful. Authenticity. The right energy doesn't reject you, it resonates with you. So don't shrink, don't shapeshift, don't silence your fire. Let rejection remind you of your edge, not push you into insecurity. Stay sharp, stay honest, stay you. And watch how the right people feel your power, not just your presence. Number 7, control the frame, don't chase it. When you get rejected, what's the first instinct? To chase clarity, to fix perception, to win them back, to reframe the interaction so you're not seen as weak. But when you chase the frame, you give up control. You enter their story and exit your own. And once you're inside their frame, they control everything. Your emotions, your worth, your mental state. That's why you must stop jumping into other people's narratives. You don't ask, why did they reject me? You ask, why did I even consider giving them my presence? Rejection isn't about how they feel. It's about how you respond. You either collapse into their story, or you build your own stronger. Controlling the frame means this. You don't beg. You don't follow. You don't try to fix. You shift focus back to your mission, your energy, your standards. Because when you lead your story, they either adjust to your frequency or get left behind. Simple. Number 8, use it to trigger focus and grind. Pain is fuel if you know how to burn it right. Rejection hurts, no sugarcoating, no pretending it doesn't sting. But that emotional hit? That's a wake-up call. It's a signal that you've been too soft, too available, too off-purpose. So what do? You don't cry, you don't vent, you build. Let that sting turn into silence. Let that silence turn into discipline. Let that discipline turn into a mission so deep, they start watching from a distance, wondering, how did I miss this? You don't chase, you channel into your business, your body, your income, your mind. Rejection is the push you didn't know you needed to level up so hard they wouldn't even recognize the version of you that used to wait for them. So don't waste that pain. Transmute it. Every time you feel the ache, grind harder, focus deeper, disappear longer, until that pain becomes purpose. Number 9. Rejection reveals weak boundaries. You weren't just rejected. You were checked by reality. Rejection exposes how far you've let your boundaries stretch. You tolerated too much. You compromised too early. You overgave without getting anything in return. And now, you're shocked they walked away? That's the lesson. You don't need to build walls. You need to build clear standards. What do you tolerate? What do you accept? Where is your line? Because if they can cross your line, disrespect your time, ignore your voice, and still get access, that's not their fault. That's on you. Rejection isn't always an insult. Sometimes it's a mirror. It's showing you where you lost yourself, where you bent too far, where you became someone you wouldn't even respect. So the answer isn't revenge, it's refinement. Get sharper, get stricter, get clear on who earns your energy, your time, your heart, your presence. They are expensive. Start treating them that way. Number 10. See it as redirection, not defeat. Every rejection you've faced was not a setback. It was a redirect. But most people won't see it that way. They internalize it. They start doubting their worth. They think, if I got rejected, it means I'm not enough. Wrong. It means you were being pushed off a path that wasn't designed for your greatness. Not because you didn't deserve it, but because you were aiming too small. Rejection isn't the world saying you failed. It's the world saying you've outgrown this level. Don't stay stuck trying to convince someone you belong. You didn't lose an opportunity, you dodged a limitation. What left you wasn't for you. What didn't stay wasn't built to last. Rejection hurts, but regret hurts harder. And regret comes when you chase what you should have walked away from with power. So next time someone rejects you, smile, because they just cleared your schedule for something better. Number 11. The ego trap. Needing to prove something. One of the deepest poisons after rejection? Trying to prove your worth to the person who walked away. You start texting more, posting more, overcompensating, trying to look successful, strong, desirable, all to win back attention. Stop. That's not confidence. That's ego addiction. You don't prove your value to people who couldn't see it in the first place. You don't earn respect from someone who disrespected your time. You don't need to change their mind. You need to master yours. Because the more you try to prove yourself to them, the more you lose yourself. Prove nothing. Say less. Build more. Let your growth make the noise. Let your absence raise the questions. Let your discipline create distance they can never catch up to. You're not here to chase impressions. You're here to build impact. Quiet, real, irresistible. Number 12. Stand tall, not defensive. People expect you to fall apart when they reject you. They expect the emotional breakdown, the passive-aggressive reaction, the guilt trip texts, the weak apology for being too intense. But what happens when you don't flinch? What happens when you respond with calm presence? What happens when they get cold, and you get even colder, clearer, and calmer? You become unforgettable. You're not defending yourself. You're not explaining yourself. You're not fighting to stay. You let them go with dignity, with silence, with absolute emotional control. Because you never beg for space in someone else's world. You build your own. Rejection doesn't define you. Response does. Stand tall, not petty, not emotional, not reactive, just unbothered. That's the real revenge. That's the real evolution. Number 13, bonus, rejection awakens the Stoic warrior. This is the bonus lesson, the one no one tells you, the one buried beneath the pain. the one you don't discover until the dust settles. Rejection is the moment your inner warrior wakes up. Because nothing forces growth like pain. Nothing sharpens your mind like silence. Nothing teaches emotional strength like being left behind and rising anyway. You don't become powerful when everything goes right. You become powerful when you're left with nothing, and still choose to build everything. When rejection hits, you choose discipline over depression. You choose focus over fixation. You choose purpose over panic. That's the warrior. That's the Stoic. That's you now. You've been rejected. You've been ghosted. You've been ignored, left on red, walked away from without warning. And every time it happened, you thought it broke you. But it didn't. It was shaping you, cutting off what was weak, burning away your approval addiction, sharpening your instincts, forcing you to look inward, where all the real power lives. Because rejection wasn't about them. It was always about you, your self-control, your ability to stay calm, your ability to not react emotionally, your ability to rise when you had every excuse to fold. This video isn't about getting even, it's about getting aligned with a version of yourself that doesn't beg for attention because you've built something no one can look away from. From now on, you don't prove, you don't perform, you don't chase, you attract, you build, you ascend. And everyone who rejected you, they'll watch it happen from the sidelines, where they chose to stay. Subscribe if you're done letting rejection break your confidence and ready to use it as fuel for the next level. Comment below. Which lesson changed how you see yourself? Drop the number that hit you hardest and let it anchor in. Share this with someone still chasing apologies, still texting ghosts, still stuck in weakness. Show them what Stoic power looks like. Support the channel to help us keep creating raw, truth-based content that breaks illusions and builds strength. Every view, comment, and contribution helps bring clarity to those trapped in confusion. You're not broken. You're just getting stronger. Rejection didn't defeat you. It revealed you. And the world? It's about to meet the version of you that never needed their yes to begin with.